For basically all of human history, we've been able to capture a single moment. You can do it in a sketch, a painting, a photograph, but to make that moment live and breathe, well, that's always felt a lot more like magic than science. And today, we are standing right on the edge of a new kind of magic. We're moving beyond just capturing reality and into a world where we can create it from pure imagination. So let's dive in and see how machines are finally learning to dream in motion by taking a look inside Google's Veo.
This right here is the promise. It's such a simple, powerful idea, and it's about to change, well, everything. Just the ability to take a thought right out of your mind and turn it into a living, moving scene. Sounds so easy, doesn't it? But the journey from a few words of text to a high-definition video that actually makes sense, that is one of the most complex, most fascinating challenges in all of AI. So how do they actually do it? To really get what Veo is all about, it helps to see it as like the third act in a big story. So in Act 1, AI mastered language. It learned to talk, to write, basically to dream in words. Then came Act 2, where it mastered space. It learned what a cat looks like, that a tree has leaves. It was dreaming in pixels. But this, Act 3, this is the hardest part by far. Now the machine has to learn to dream in time. It's not enough to know what a ball looks like. It has to get how it bounces. It needs to understand that when a person walks behind a car, they don't just blink out of existence.
And that really gets us to the heart of the problem. Because making that jump from a still picture to a moving video isn't just a small step up, it is a massive, monumental leap in just how complex everything gets. It's the difference between describing one single moment and telling an entire, coherent story that unfolds over time. Think about it like this. Creating an image is kind of like solving a really tough crossword puzzle. It's hard, for sure, but it's one self-contained problem. But creating a video, that's like trying to solve 100 crossword puzzles all stacked on top of each other, where every single answer has to logically connect to the puzzle right above it and the one right below it. It's not a snapshot anymore, it's a whole narrative. Let's just put a number on that to make it real. A really simple 5-second video clip, right? At 24 frames a second, that has 120 individual pictures in it. The AI doesn't just have to make 120 cool images. It has to figure out all the invisible connections between all of them. Every single pixel has to flow logically into the next one. And if it gets that wrong, even for a split second, you don't get a story. You just get chaos.
And this is what that chaos actually looks like. I'm sure you've seen this stuff in early AI videos. When you see these weird glitches, you're literally watching an AI that just doesn't get the physics of our world. A flickering object? That means the AI failed to keep it consistent. A hand that morphs into something else? That means it totally forgot what a hand is supposed to look like from one frame to the next. It's a failure of memory, a failure of, well, object permanence. The real magic of Veo is that it's starting to conquer this chaos.
So how does Veo do it? This is the key. It completely changes how it thinks about video. Instead of seeing a bunch of separate 2D images in a flipbook, it sees the entire video all at once as a single object. And the best way to picture it is as a kind of jelly block.
Okay, so the technical term for this is a space-time volume. But just imagine you could actually hold a video clip in your hands. It would have a height and a width, right? Just like a photo, but it would also have depth. And that third dimension, the depth of this block, is time. So Veo isn't drawing one picture, then the next, then the next. No, it's sculpting this entire block of space-time all at once.
This is such a brilliant way to explain it. So in this model, if you have a snake slithering across a screen, the AI is not drawing hundreds of different snakes. It's sculpting one single, continuous, snake-shaped tube that's just winding its way through that block of time. And that is how it solves the consistency problem. The snake can't just suddenly change its pattern or lose its tail, because in the model's mind, it's all one single, unbroken thing.
Okay, so that concept is the huge breakthrough. But how do you actually build a system that can think that way without, its computer brain just melting down from all that data? Let's get into the architecture and see how it works.
The first big trick is that you don't work with the raw video itself. It's way too heavy, too much information. Instead, the model works in something called a latent space. And the absolute easiest way to think about it is like a blueprint, right? You wouldn't build a skyscraper by thinking about every single brick at the same time. You'd start with a blueprint. The AI does the exact same thing. It works with a lightweight, math-based blueprint that has the core ideas of the video, not all the heavy pixels.
And this all happens in this really clever 3-step dance. So first, an encoder acts like an engineer. It takes a real video and squishes it down into that efficient latent blueprint. Then second, the AI becomes the architect, doing all its creative work inside this abstract blueprint world. And finally, once the design is done, a decoder acts like the construction crew, taking that blueprint and expanding it back out into the final full-res video we see. The AI itself never even touches a pixel.
So, if the AI is an architect using a blueprint, what are its building materials? Well, they're called spacetime patches. Imagine taking our video jelly block and just slicing it up into thousands of these tiny little 3D cubes. Each one of those little cubes is like a fundamental Lego brick of reality for the AI. A single brick doesn't just mean a patch of blue sky, it means a patch of blue sky over a few frames, moving just a little bit to the left.
And the engine that puts all these Lego bricks together is the transformer, the same core tech behind models like Gemini. Its superpower is something called self-attention, which is just a fancy way of saying it has a perfect long-range memory. It lets any one of those Lego bricks anywhere in the video know about every other brick. And that is what finally solves object permanence. The brick for a ball in the first second can connect directly to the brick for that exact same ball 5 seconds later, and that ensures it doesn't just disappear.
So the model gets physics and consistency now. But how does it learn about art? About cinematic language, like what a dolly zoom is, or what golden hour lighting looks like? Well, you basically send it to film school with another AI as the professor. Google uses its super powerful language model, Gemini, as the teacher. Gemini watches millions of videos and writes these incredibly rich, detailed cinematic descriptions. Then Veo, the student, just learns to connect those artistic words to the visual data. It's genius.
Now, when you put all of these pieces together, you get something that goes way, way beyond just making funny videos for the internet. We really have to zoom out here and think about where this is all going, because the end game here is not just a better creative tool. It's something much, much bigger than that.
This quote really captures the shift we're talking about. For the last 100 years of media, we've been passive observers. We've been watching stories play out on a screen. But this technology points to a future where we stop just watching the dream, and we actually start stepping inside of it, interacting with worlds that are generated around us in real time.
And this is probably the most important thing to take away from all of this. Veo isn't just a video generator. It is a primitive world simulator. And here's the part that just blows my mind. No one programmed Veo with the laws of physics. Nobody gave it equations for gravity or how water moves. By watching billions of hours of video of our world, it has developed its own intuitive, learned understanding of how reality actually works. It's a physics engine that's built from pure observation, not from code.
So I'm going to leave you with this final thought. Right now, these models can generate a consistent reality at 24 frames per second. But what happens when they get faster? Fast enough to generate and regenerate that world in real time, instantly reacting to our choices. Well, at that point, it stops being a video maker, and it starts becoming a reality engine. And exploring what that really means, well, that's exactly where we're headed next.